When you think of the Middle Ages, what pops into your head? I bet it's towering stone castles, right? Knights in shining armor, maybe some epic battles. And yeah, those are the iconic images, for sure. But behind all that romance is a pretty brutal reality, and a fascinating system. A system that was literally born from chaos and would go on to define Europe for 1,000 years. So how did it all actually work? How do you build an entire society from the ground up when everything's falling apart?
To really get the world of castles and knights, you have to picture the world they came from. So imagine this. The Roman Empire, the superpower of its day, is gone. It has completely crumbled. Europe is just this fractured, dangerous place. There's no central army, no police force to call. You've got Viking raiders hitting the coasts, local warlords fighting over every scrap of territory, and for the average person, life was just deeply, deeply insecure. So the question for, everyone was simple, but it was profound. How in the world do you create any kind of order or safety when there's basically no one in charge?
So out of this total instability, a new system had to emerge. And this wasn't some grand plan cooked up by a bunch of thinkers. Nope, this was born out of sheer desperation. It was a system built for pure survival, and its solution would end up shaping the Western world for centuries to come.
That solution, it grew organically, out of pure necessity. The textbook name for it is feudalism, but honestly, that's kind of dry. It's much better to think of it as a giant, society-wide bargain, a massive web of interlocking promises made between people in a very dangerous world.
So, what is this system exactly? Well, at its absolute heart, feudalism is a deal. It's a system where power isn't really based on money, because there wasn't much of it floating around. It was based on land and the promises that came attached to that land. Land was the ultimate resource, the real currency, and it's what you use to buy loyalty and, most importantly, military protection.
The entire massive system really boiled down to one simple exchange. On one side, you have a powerful lord, and he would grant a piece of his land, they called it a fief, to a lesser noble who was called a vassal. Now, on the other side, the vassal didn't pay rent with cash. He paid with a promise, an oath of loyalty or fealty, and a solemn pledge to grab his sword and fight for that lord whenever he was called upon. It was a two-way street. Land and protection flowed down, and loyalty and military service flowed right back up.
And this one simple bargain created an entire social structure, basically a pyramid of promises. At the very tippy top, you've got the king. In theory, he owned all the land. But there's no way he could manage it all himself, so he granted these huge chunks to his most powerful buddies, the barons and the lords. They, in turn, would chop up their land into smaller parcels and give those to knights, whose whole job was to be a professional fighting force. And then, at the very bottom, holding everyone and everything up, were the peasants. They were the ones working the land, and in exchange for all that backbreaking labor, they got a place to live, and, this is the crucial part, protection from all the chaos raging outside the castle walls. Okay, so where was the physical heart of all this? If land was the currency of the system, then the castle was the bank, the vault, and the corporate headquarters all rolled into one massive stone building. It was the anchor of the entire feudal world. And you've got to forget the fairy tale image of a castle. A real castle was the nerve center of feudal power. Of course, it was a military fortress, the ultimate safe room during an attack, but its day-to-day job was even more critical. It was the administrative capital. It's where legal disputes were settled, where taxes were collected, and where the lord's authority was made totally, undeniably visible. It was just this giant stone symbol looming on the horizon, reminding every single person for miles around exactly who was in charge.
Now, all these promises and pyramids, they're just ideas, right? They're just words on paper unless you have someone to enforce them. A deal is only as good as the muscle that backs it up. And in the feudal world, that muscle came wrapped in a suit of armor. It was the knight.
This quote just nails it. The knight was the sword of the system, the physical guarantor of that feudal promise. When a lord promised his people protection, it was the knight who literally rode out to provide it. When a rebellion kicked off, it was the knight who rode in to put it down. He was the living, breathing enforcement that made the whole bargain stick. So why were knights this super elite class? Why pay them in huge tracts of land instead of just, cash? Well, simply put, the cost of their gear was absolutely astronomical. A warhorse wasn't just any horse. It was a trained killing machine that cost as much as a small farm. And a full suit of plate armor, get this, that could cost you the value of an entire village. The only way a lord could afford to have a medieval tank like this on his side was to grant him land, that fief, so the knight could use the revenues from it to fund his incredibly expensive profession.
Okay, so we've talked about the lords chilling in their castles and the knights galloping around on their war horses. But hang on a second. Who fed them? Who grew the crops and raised the livestock and did all the actual work that kept this entire society from collapsing? It's time to look at the massive foundation of that social pyramid.
The numbers here are just staggering. 90%. For every 10 people you met in the medieval world, 9 of them were peasants or serfs. That whole glittering world of nobility and chivalry and the clergy, the 10% at the top, was built literally on the backs and the labor of this immense majority.
For the vast, vast majority of people, life was just a relentless cycle of hard physical labor, all dictated by the seasons. Now, they weren't exactly slaves, but let's be real, they weren't free either. Serfs were legally tied to the land. They couldn't just pack up and leave without the Lord's permission. And in return for their endless, grueling work, they got to live on the land, and, most importantly, they received protection from the Lord and his knights. It was the feudal bargain at its most raw, most fundamental level, your freedom in exchange for security. This system dominated Europe for hundreds and hundreds of years. But nothing lasts forever. So, how did this world of lords and vassals finally start to fade away? And what, if anything, did it leave behind for us? The feudal bargain didn't just end one Tuesday. It slowly unraveled over time. First, in the 1300s, the Black Death wiped out about a third of Europe's population. All of a sudden, labor was scarce, and peasants had leverage they had never, ever had before. Then, about a century later, a new technology changes everything: gunpowder. Cannons could now blast through stone castle walls, which made castles a lot less secure. At the same time, kings started building professional paid armies that were way more reliable than knights who might not show up. Slowly but surely, money was becoming more powerful than promises, and that old land-for-service deal was finally breaking down. And yet, even though the system itself is long gone, its echoes are all around us. The incredibly complex rules of modern property law. A lot of that grew directly from feudal concepts of land grants. The whole idea of civic duty and service to your country. That's really just a modern version of a vassal's oath of fealty to his lord. And yeah, every time you see a story about honor and courage and chivalry, you're seeing a romantic ideal that was born in this era.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. Okay, we no longer swear an oath of fealty to a lord for a plot of land, but we do sign employment contracts, right? We trade our labor and our time for salary and benefits. We click agree on terms of service, trading our